Well, a tribute to John Prine there at the end of Governor Beshear's news conference. The singer-songwriter died from complications of the coronavirus in Tennessee, but as the governor said, and we're going to have more on this in a minute in our newscast, Prine did have connections to Kentucky. Well, the governor says Kentucky is in a surge of coronavirus cases right now. The governor announced 204 new cases today. It is the largest one-day total we've seen. There are now more than 1,300 cases confirmed in the Commonwealth. Governor Beshear also announced 8 new deaths, and at least 339 people have fully recovered. We also learned the state will begin the process of distributing extra $600 in unemployment beginning tomorrow, and the governor said more information about that would be released tomorrow. We will have more on COVID-19 in a moment, but first we want to get an update on the severe weather threat coming up tonight. We've already seen one line of strong to severe storms move through parts of the region today. Chief Meteorologist Paige Noel joins us now with the latest. Paige.
Well, Steve, we've seen that first line really kind of starting to push out of here. Of course, still keep an eye on a few of those pop-up showers and storms. And we do have one warning in our area that really just includes parts of Lee County, Estill County, and maybe even a sliver of Breathitt. We'll go ahead and zoom in on that. No, Breathitt's not in it yet, but this storm is kind of tracking that way. That goes until about 6:30. It's mostly in Lee County right now. You can see a little bit of Owsley County, I think, is now in that. We'll continue to watch that storms as it does start to push into parts of Breathitt County. A little storm if we're looking over into Knott County and Hindman, and maybe even some thunder and a little bit into Perry County, really right there on that line. But seeing really most of those storms get on out of here, and that severe thunderstorm watch has been canceled for eastern Kentucky. That was supposed to go until 8 p.m. We're still hanging on to it for Dickinson and Buchanan County over into Virginia. But we do have that enhanced risk for severe weather tonight. That's a 3 out of 5 on that severe weather scale, as another line is expected to move in tonight and pack a punch. I'll have those details coming up in a little bit.
All right. Thank you very much, Paige. Coal miners are deemed essential during this coronavirus outbreak. Many work underground, working to keep our lights on. But many are also at a heightened risk for COVID-19. WYMT's Connor James talked with miners and their families about why they are on edge as miners head underground.
Yeah, out of all the coal miners and their families that I talked to, none of them really expressed any sort of comfort. It was all a lot of worry. These miners go underground and spend a lot of their time in close proximity to one another. Whether it's issues with having N95s readily available or the fact that these miners have limited airflow underground and the airflow that is underground recycles through the whole mine, they all are somewhat worried. Kristen Collett, one of the miners' wives I talked to, says she couldn't sleep the first night her husband returned to the underground.
He has sleep apnea. He has a cough continuously. If he does a lot of labor, he's out of breath. And he is in really good shape, for a 49-year-old coal miner.
She says the mine her husband works at has taken extra precautions, such as providing some sort of hand sanitizer and additional trips underground. Wes Addington, the executive director for the Appalachian Citizens Law Center in Whitesburg, deals with a lot of people who have black lung. He says out of the miners studied, 20% of all miners in central Appalachia have black lung.
We've known that over the past couple decades. The miners have been getting an increasing burden of dust while they're working.
Now, Addington does say under federal law that miners don't have to go to work if they feel where they're working is unsafe, whether that be for reasons such as COVID or other issues. Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Miners say thankfully some local mines have taken precautions. They just worry if it's enough. We'll have more on this tonight at 11. Now, Governor Beshear announced numerous new COVID-19 cases across the WYMT coverage area today, the most by far in Pulaski County. 11 new cases announced by the governor, and we talked to the judge executive there a short time ago. The total now in Pulaski County is 28. That's by far the most of any county in our viewing area, I believe. 10 people there have recovered. Roughly 90 counties in Kentucky now have at least one confirmed case. The last several years, officials in Williamsburg worked hard to try and bring life back into downtown. As they started seeing the fruits of their labor, the coronavirus pandemic stalled their progress. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talked to Mayor Roddy Harrison about the holdups.
Coming soon signs plaster walls of downtown Williamsburg.
We were at the beginning. We weren't really into their money-making time.
But those plans are not coming as soon as everyone thought.
Well, there's never a good time for a pandemic, but we had one restaurant actually rocking and rolling. I mean, they were doing really, really well. The Brick Oven was doing phenomenal, and the Butcher's Pub was scheduled to open. The others were coming a little bit later.
Places like Copper Top Tap. The bar is made up entirely of 2019 pennies. It is a stark reminder of how they were supposed to open back in May.
We've told people for weeks and months that we were in the final stages, and then we would hit another hurdle.
So when they received word they could open March 30th, it came at a bittersweet time.
Half of the experience of Copper Top is being inside Copper Top. I mean, if you look around, we've got the penny top bar, we've got a copper ceiling. I mean, it's an entire aesthetic in here.
And without first allowing that experience to take shape, they simply could not start with curbside, meaning they have been put on hold once again. Now, the Copper Top Tap is looking forward to seeing the silver lining.
I'm ready to see the growth. You know, everybody's right there at the edge, ready to go over. So when you see that growth is happening, you know, your economy is going to do nothing but win. So that's what we're looking forward to.
Expecting to bring life to downtown like they have never seen. In Whitley County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
And we all look forward to that time, don't we? Copper Top Tap and the Butcher's Pub are both planning grand openings as soon as the closing orders are lifted. The Elk Lodge in Corbin is helping to give restaurants, businesses, and feed those in need. Through the $2,000 gratitude grant, the lodge is buying meals from 8 downtown restaurants so they can take turns preparing meals during the next 2 months. Those meals will be prepared every Wednesday evening at 4. Well, we just heard his voice there at the end of Governor Beshear's news conference. Many are remembering singer and songwriter John Prine after he died from COVID-19 complications. But Prine's legacy spans further than some may realize. Prine's father was born in Western Kentucky, and Prine himself spent time there, writing songs with ties to the mining industry. In his final years of life, Prine released an album in which all the proceeds from it went to an organization in Whitesburg that helps miners and their families get black lung benefits.
It was a cover of My Old Kentucky Home, and the B-side was a live version of Paradise, which is a famous Kentucky coal mining song that he did live with Tyler Childers. And John Prine donated the proceeds from the sales of this album to Appalachian Citizens Law Center to support our work on trying to get black lung benefits for sick coal miners.
Addington says all of his staff are heartbroken and says Prine cared a lot for coal miners here in Kentucky. John Prine was 73 years old. Meanwhile, Wolfe County's Tyler Booth wants people to spend their free time making a video for his new lyric video. Booth cannot shoot a music video for his new song called Half a Mind to Go Crazy, so he is asking fans to send in videos of how they are staying entertained. WYMT's Emily Bennett talks more in depth with Booth about the project tonight at 11.
And we have that first line of those strong to severe storms moving through now, but the main line moves in a little bit later tonight. I'll have those details coming up.